And we start with this developing story this morning. We're learning more about why APS's chief financial officer was put on paid leave, and it seems text messages the new superintendent may have accidentally sent may shed some light on the matter. APS put its CFO Don Moya on paid leave Friday. The Facebook group Stand for Kids NM posted a picture of a text message Moya received from APS Superintendent Luis Valentino. That same day, NMPoliticalReport.com reports Valentino thought he was texting State Education Secretary Hannah Scandera instead of Moya and was asking for advice on how to get rid of Moya. The article shows a text from Valentino saying he was going to go after Moya in the coming weeks and says Moya had been allowed to ride roughshod over here. We will have a sit-down interview with the superintendent later today. We'll be asking him all about that and bring it to you here on KRQE News 13.
Meantime, 602, the stepdad, who police say helped in the abuse that led to the death of his 9-year-old stepson, is pleading guilty now to other charges. Stephen Casals was hit with drug and DWI charges in 2012, 1 year before Omari Varela died. An informant told police that Casals was dealing heroin out of his car. He now faces 9 years in prison on those charges. His trial in Omari's death is scheduled now for the end of this month. A man charged with beating his wife twice this year is on paid leave this morning, but despite his brush with the law, he's still a sergeant at the jail. Albuquerque police went to Stephen Fabrizio's home last week. They say that his wife had a bruise on her face and a scraped back. She told police that Fabrizio slapped her and hit her while she was holding their 1-year-old daughter. He was arrested for domestic violence and child endangerment. MDC says that Fabrizio is now on paid leave, and it was the second time that he was charged with domestic violence, but prosecutors dropped that case.
Developing right now as we turn our eye on the economy, where more than 1,000 jobs have popped up in Albuquerque over just the last month. That's according to statistics from the Bureau of Labor. From May to June, the metro area has seen nearly 8,300 new jobs. More jobs mean more people are spending. Money from the gross receipts tax is up 5.5%, which translates to nearly $15 million Metro has brought in just 1 month alone. The city says this means good things for the Metro in the long run.
There's a lot of businesses and there's a lot of opportunities out here in Albuquerque, and we're growing and we're expanding, and it's not just our word, it's evidenced by the numbers.
Now, despite the good news, Albuquerque and the rest of New Mexico still lag behind when compared to neighboring states. New Mexico's unemployment rate is still much higher than the national average.
Now on to some facts that you need to know about Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico. Customers will not pay 50% higher rates next year, but the company could still be making some big changes. The state denied the company's 51.6% rate increase last week. It was a request. Albuquerque Business First reports the company might now leave the New Mexico Health Exchange. Blue Cross Blue Shield says it is not able to offer sustainable rates without increasing premiums. The company serves about 35,000 New Mexicans. Developing this morning, it looks like Donald Trump has made amends with Fox News.
Yeah, this after the network's chairman assured him the channel would treat him fairly. The Republican presidential candidate has come under fire for controversial remarks about Fox News host Megyn Kelly, who he claims questioned him unfairly during last week's GOP debate. Despite the uproar, a new poll of Republican voters shows Trump leading the pack of GOP candidates. While Trump maintains he never intended to say anything inappropriate, the Fox anchor addressed the comments Monday night on the Kelly file.
Trump, who is the frontrunner, will not apologize. And I certainly will not apologize for doing good journalism.
In the meantime, Trump is scheduled to appear on 2 separate Fox News programs later today.
5 minutes past 6, a new online tutoring service aims to help students as they head back to the classroom now. The state bought a subscription to BrainFuse. That's an online one-on-one tutoring program. Students can access the service with the click of a mouse, allowing them to connect with tutors in real time 7 days per week.
This is such a great resource to help kids and families learn together and reinforce what our kids are learning in school. So you're learning something at school, when you get home, it reinforces.
You can get this at public libraries now, schools, colleges, and universities.
There's now a new push to get kids involved in college earlier. The program is called Running Start for Careers, and it's currently taking enrollment this week. It's a partnership between APS and CNM that helps high school juniors and seniors earn college credit while working internships. The city says these students get better grades, and 86% of those who graduate from the program go to college. Looks like Albuquerque's Tigway Park is going green, testing out its new recycling program. The city is adding blue recycling bins next to regular trash cans at the park on 10th and Mountain. That's to gauge over the next 6 months if the public will actually recycle. Now, if this pilot project does work, the city says it will be adding more blue bins at parks across the city.
Happening right now, a massive wildfire burning in Northern California is now forcing the second evacuation of people who have already been forced out of their homes yesterday. According to CAL FIRE, this fire has grown to 6,000 acres without any containment as of Monday night. At least 150 people have been evacuated from their homes as flames crackled through dry brush. Meanwhile, the larger blaze known as the Rocky Fire that started about 2 weeks ago has burned 109 square miles.
Take a look at this new video this morning. It shows an off-duty bus driver spring into action to save a woman from a sinking car in a canal in Yuma, Arizona. The bus driver's wife captured it all on her cell phone camera. The man rushes into the water to pull the woman out through an open window. Even with the strong current, he somehow manages to swim the woman all the way back to dry land. The woman was taken to the hospital only for an examination. She's expected to be okay, and she's actually calling him her hero.
I was going to say, thank goodness for people that think quickly, right, in those situations and are jumping in the water to save somebody. Wow.
Just in the nick of time.
I know. Thanks, John. The Environmental Protection Agency says we could learn more about exactly what spilled into the Animas River as early as tomorrow. This is when it was a little bit more prominent earlier this week. The river's clearing today. Federal authorities say it's still too dangerous to use the water. Hundreds of residents in Farmington and the surrounding areas have expressed their outrage at a community forum in Farmington with officials. This one took place last night. They're frustrated with the lack of information coming from authorities, they say.
We could lose our animals. It could damage our crops. It'll destroy the soil. We really need some numbers.
It'll have all the information that people are asking, so they need to keep us updated.
The EPA says on Wednesday about 3 million gallons of mining wastewater filled with arsenic and lead in it washed down the Animas from Silverton, Colorado. The EPA says by tomorrow they're going to know exactly which metals and how much of them have washed down into New Mexico through the Animas. The state says it's tested about 5 wells north of Aztec, and those have been clear of any contaminants, but they're still warning people to stay away. Community forums will continue every night this week at the Farmington Civic Center starting at 6 o'clock.
And in response, Governor Susana Martinez is now declaring a state of emergency because of that spill that does free up money for cleanup testing and future studies. Meanwhile, federal authorities say waste is still flowing from that mine this morning, but it's being treated at the site. Remember, stay with KRQE News 13 on air and, of course, on our KRQE News app for the latest on the Animas River pollution. Get ready, things are about to change. More traffic, parents' schedules starting earlier, and kids heading back to school.
You may be all set with supplies and schedules, but APD is issuing a last-minute reminder to everyone, whether you're a parent or not. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is live with more this morning. Catherine?
Good morning, Adam. Now, APD says they have crossing guards set up for every school, ready to keep an eye on your little ones, but they're still asking you to do your part in getting your kids to and from school safely.
It's been close to 3 months since this was a familiar sight on your morning commute. But that's all about to change.
You're going to see students driving to school again, students walking, students getting to the bus stop.
It's why APD reminds you to slow down.
We need people just to take their time, pay more attention to their surroundings.
APD Officer Tanner Touche says the faster you're going, the more time it takes to stop. But that's not the only reason to mind the speed limit.
Around our first couple weeks of school, we always have our traffic enforcement officers out in and around school zones, making sure people are abiding by the rules of the school zone and driving safely.
That means they'll also be on the lookout for drivers on their cell phones, talking or texting.
Please stay off your cell phones, especially in school zones.
If your child is taking the bus for the first time, make sure you both know the schedule and the bus stop location.
We really highly recommend that with the little ones, the kindergartners, first, second grade, whatever the comfort level is, that the parents take them to the bus stop if possible and wait with them at least the first few times.
If you're dropping your child off at the bus stop, even if he or she is a little older, APD suggests you wait until other kids show up before you leave, if you can. And if they're walking by themselves,
Try to locate other parents who have kids of the same age. There's the old adage, there's safety in numbers, is very true. Getting 2 or 3 kids to walk together is a lot safer than one kid walking by themselves to the school bus.
Now, APS says if your kids do have a cell phone, they want to make sure that you've put your phone number in there so that they can reach you if they need you. They also suggest that you get a hold of their transportation number just as a precaution. Back to you.
All right, Catherine, thank you. And one more reminder is to make sure that your contact information at the school is up to date so that they can reach you if necessary. For more information and for APS's important numbers, visit our website right now, krqe.com.
We turn out to news happening right now. Police are looking for possibly another groper on the UNM campus. This morning, students are being told to be on high alert. Police say a distraught Hispanic man in his 50s to 60s went up to the woman outside the bookstore yesterday morning. She gave the man food and prayed with him. The man gave her a hug, then grabbed her chest. She immediately called police. You might remember last month, a man grabbed a woman's butt in a UNM parking lot near Johnson Field. And last week, a man grabbed another woman's chest in a CNM parking lot. No word if any of these assaults are related.
Happening now, a state of emergency is in effect in Ferguson, Missouri, following renewed protests in that city. And new on this Tuesday morning, police say they've made 24 arrests during the 4th night of unrest. It comes 1 year after the death of Michael Brown. A demonstration in the same location on Sunday night was interrupted by gunfire. Police say they shot and injured 18-year-old Tyrone Harris Jr., who's accused of shooting at officers.
We turn out to news out of Washington, D.C. this morning, where officials are proposing that video from officer lapel cameras be made available to you, the public. But that would only be if the interaction happened in a public place. However, under the same proposal, people who are captured on camera would have access to the video if it was recorded on private property. So would prosecutors and academic researchers. So this morning, a loud, majestic roar is missing at the Rio Grande Zoo.
That's Cosmo the lion. He died overnight Sunday after battling cancer. The lion came to the zoo in 2004 after being confiscated from a drug cartel where he was used as a guard lion. Cosmo was diagnosed with lymphoma in June. Yesterday, they remembered the great cat that was a big fan favorite.
When I'd be walking back by the den, he'd roar at me and try to make me jump and that sort of thing. And you know, nothing malicious, but just little games that he would play with some of us, and he was a fun cat to work with.
In the last few months, the staff did everything they say that they could to make him comfortable. Cosmo was 18.
This morning, police are still investigating what caused this car to slam into this house, causing this massive explosion. Incredible enough, the family that lived there is alive today. Authorities in Lansing, Michigan say a car had run into another car, causing it to slam into the side of that house there, all with the family still inside. Gene Dockstader says he was getting ready for work when he heard all of the commotion. He says within seconds, somehow he knew the car had hit a gas line and immediately told his fiancée to grab their baby and get out. They say they lost nearly everything, but the community has been helping them with the necessities while they work to get back up on their feet. And remarkably, that his instincts were that it hit a gas line. Who would have thought?
No, I know that. And the whole thing, the devastation that's shown there, everything's in pieces. So they're not going to get much back from that. It's nice that people are maybe going to help them.